Hello, welcome back to the UG English channel. In today's class, we are going to study about the periods of English literature. I tried to present the history of English literature in a table format, which is very useful for JL, DL, as well as for all the competition examinations. And it's an attempt to make the study of English literature very easy way, and it's a bird eye view of the entire history of English literature. I tabulated the entire history from the old English period to the modern English period. History of English literature can be broadly divided into three ages. One is Old English period from 450 AD to 1100 AD, and the Middle English period from 1100 to 1500 AD, and then early modern or the modern age from 1500 to present age. In our jail examination, we have to concentrate from the Renaissance or early modern age, that is from 15th century onwards. But for the convenience of the students and for better understanding of the literature, we also need to look into the previous ages of literature, so that this knowledge of the previous ages will help us to understand the differences of the trends in the literature. So coming to the first age of the English literature, we usually call it as Old English period or Anglo-Saxon Age. You can observe the table here. I tabulated the entire history in the table format, that is the age and the rulers of that age, and the historical remarks or changes of that particular age, and then I have tried to cover to the literary remarks of that particular age. Here Anglo-Saxon Age is also called as Old English period. The Celtic England, initially the England is known as the Celtic one. Celts, a group of tribes known as Celts, Celts, are pronounced as Celts. The Celtic England was actually inhabitants. The Celts are the inhabitants of the England, and Romans and various Germanic tribes and Vikings and all other tribes invaded England, and they made it as their homeland. And you can observe one short mnemonic here, CRASJVNWSI. It's easy to remember the chronology of the tribes which invaded the England. So Celts, then Romans, and three Germanic tribes, that is Anglo-Saxons and Jutes, and then Vikings, Normans, and these Wales, Scotland, and Ireland are the part of land included in the England. So that is now we call it as UK. So there is a slight difference between England. England is actually a country, and then Great Britain is part of is a combination of England with Wales and Scotland, and UK is a combination of Great Britain along with the Northern Ireland. So I have given the special, I have compiled this entire history of English language development as a special edition, and I have uploaded in my blog also. You can observe that posting in the blog. And coming to the changes, literary changes of this English period, is the basic question to begin with is, English is a West Germanic language. So in examinations, they will begin with this question: English is a which type of or which group, to belongs to which group of languages? This is a basic question you have to remember. This is mandatory and important question. So it's a West Germanic language, and it belongs to Indo-European group, whereas Tamil, Telugu and all are Dravidian groups, and Hindi is a Indo-Aryan group. And coming to the Anglo-Saxon Age, heroic poetry, the first form of the literature. There is poetry that is in oral tradition. So it was part of this Anglo-Saxons literature, and it's about heroics, or the adventures of the heroes of that particular tribe or particular ages. And the King Alfred is one of the greatest literature writers of that age. So because he is also one of the author, and he started chronicles. Chronicle is nothing but a history of events, recorded history of events of the particular age. And this is the beginning of the prose also. We can call it as the beginning of the prose also. And there are three famous authors in this age: Bede, Cadman, and Sine Wolf. And I'm not going to deep into that background of this age, but the particular one point we have to remember is English is the language which English was originated from the Celts, that is Celtic England. And then we have understood that the first form of literature, that is heroic poetry, which is in most of the form of oral poetry. And another important question from this area is the question of Beowulf. Beowulf is the greatest epic poem of this Old English period, or we can say Anglo-Saxon age. So this knowledge, basic knowledge, is enough for us to learn about the next ages. And coming to the next important age of English literature is Middle English period, that is from 1100 AD to 1500. So it began with the Battle of Hastings. This is one of the very influential battles, or influential historical event in the English literary history. So here the William III of Normandy, that is Norman, is invaded England and defeated the lost Saxon king, that is Harold. So why we have to study history is a basic question we need to understand, because the historical events will always causes the major changes in the literature. So history or literature goes both hand in hand. So literature, it mirrors the history of the particular age. So that's why the history plays a major role, or historical events plays a major role in a literature. So we often get questions like the important historical events in the particular age. For example, this Battle of Hastings is one of the important questions, or Norman conquest. So it's very important question in the English literature. So we also get questions from this area also. So these Normans, they are originally from Scandinavia. So they invaded the England. And here, because of the Normans ruling, the French language was dominated. The French influence was more on the English language. That's why even today we have many words from French language. So that is what important point we have. And because of this Norman invasion, Norman conquest, the meter and rhyme was introduced into the Anglo-Saxon verse, that is poetry. So before the original English poetry don't have the meter and rhyme in the verse, but today the meter and rhyme is imported from the French tradition, that is from the because of the Norman conquest. That's why historical events are very much important to understand the history of literature also. And this French domination resulted in the disappearance of the old English tradition, that is alliterative tradition is there, that we will discuss in the next stage, that is in the age of Chaucer age. So the people were habituated, or they are fascinated to speak French language. So nobility used the French language, and the Roman influence is also there. That is the clergy, the clergy means the officers are also using the Latin, and the lower class or the middle, the lower people using vernacular language, that is English language of their local language. So here, obviously, the fashion is about only French language or Latin language. English is less valued in that area. So after Norman conquest, what happened? The English is treated as a lower language in the society. So this is the history of this Anglo-Norman or the old French area. So here the rhyming couplets or chronicles or Britannies. Britannies means are the stories, the historical of Britain stories, or biographies. Hagiographic tradition is also one of the famous of this age. So the famous poems are Owl and Nightingale and Cursor Mundi. So this is a simple thing we have to remember, and we may not get questions, but it plays very crucial role in understanding the literature. So coming to the age of Chaucer, He is known as a father of English literature or poetry. And during this age of Chaucer from 1340 to 1400, and please try to understand, if you memorize this table completely, if you memorize this entire table, you may get 5 to 10 questions in the examination, that is to 10 to 20 marks with this table only. I am very confident about the question paper pattern, and I am saying you, this table plays a crucial role in understanding the history of English literature. So I have provided the link to download the particular to this table in the video link. You can, in the description you can see this link also to download. So coming to the age of Chaucer, you may get a question like on the ages also. For example, the question may be the age of Chaucer is between this age to this age. It may be a question. Or which author belongs to which age. Or arrange the following authors in chronological order. Or the present revolt is belongs to which of the ages. Or we can say whatever this table I have mentioned in this table are very much important, and once you download this PDF file, you will understand the importance of this table, and it's a bird eye view of the entire history of English literature. So coming back to the age of Chaucer, we have studied the importance of Old English period. The Old English period is full of alliterative poetry, that is a repetition of consonant sound. This is one of the important question. What is alliteration? Alliteration is nothing but repetition of the consonant sounds. Generally we call it as tongue twisters. All tongue twisters are generally alliteratives, repetition of consonant sounds. So here the East Midland dialect plays crucial role. This is an important point to remember. Which English dialect became famous in age of Chaucer is, that is the present English is originated from this East Midland dialect, and this dialect has raised into a English language, now the present English language we can say. So before age of Chaucer, authors did not reveal their identity, that is every writer or the poems or writings are almost in oral tradition, and there is no particular author for that writings. So this age of anonymity has passed away, and authors started revealing their identities. So this was started in the age of Chaucer, and some new meters like pentameter, rhyme royal, octava rima, and heroic couplets are introduced into the English language. And these are some famous works of this age, and you can just read the names and remember the game, The Tale of Gamblin and Sir Gawain, or these are romances. And the Peril is a important elegy, a most important elegy of the English literature, and it's a part of this age of Chaucer, and it's written by unknown poet. You may get a question like, who is the author of the Peril poem? It's an unknown poet, remember, you can remember it. And Langland's Piers Plowman is also important poem of this age. So it talks about the peasants revolt. And see, this is the link. What I am talking about is the peasant revolt happened in 1381, and that is represented in the form of a poem also. So this is the link between history and English literature. If you understand the history, it is very easy to read the literature. So that's why I have mentioned the history also along with the literature. And you know, Geoffrey Chaucer is a father of English literature, and he's author of Canterbury Tales. It's a greatest tale. It's a modeled on Boccaccio's Decameron, that is 100 stories, who wrote in Italian language. And this is the model, or the Canterbury Tales is a model copied from Boccaccio, and originally his plan was to write 124 stories, but he wrote only nearly 24 stories only completed. And he introduced the rhyme into the English, that we have discussed in the previous age, from the French poetry. So before Chaucer's experiment, or before the Normans conquest, Anglo-Normans conquest, we don't have meter and rhyme in English language. This Chaucer has introduced rhyme into the English language. So, and he coined more than 1,000 words. He added many words into the English language. And the important author, one of the author is John Wycliffe. He is also called as the father of English prose, and he is the first person to translate the Bible into vernacular language, that is into the English language. Originally the Latin, it is in Latin format or in Germanic text. So he translated the Bible from Latin language to English language. And Sir John Mandeville is the one who is behind the imperialism of the present England, the England's imperialism, because his geographical book has motivated many in England people to take adventures and to invent or to travel to the other countries. So this is a source of the imperialism, we can say, colonialism. And John Gower is one of the famous author who wrote in 3 languages, and this you can see the list of these works, and you can also go to the material I posted in my blog also. And coming to the history, so this is very important. 100 Years War is, and Black Death, Peasant Revolt, all these are important historical events of this age of Chaucer. So we have discussed how Peasants Revolt is part of P.S. Plowman, the poem. And Lollardy movement, the Lollardy is nothing but they demanded for a pure Christianity. It's like a Puritan movement, that is the purity in the Christian religion or in the church, because they questioned the corruption of the church people. So John Wycliffe thought that the God's law is in only Latin. It is not able to read by the many native people. So he translated that Wycliffe, this Wycliffe translated that book into the vernacular language, that is to the English language, so that the English people can understand the God's law. So that's why this Lollardy movements also has a main influence on the translation of the Bible, and this Wycliffe is called as the father of English prose. So this is the link between the history and English literature. So if you understood this, the link, you can understand the literature very easily. And as we have discussed, the John Mandeville's travel book has motivated many to do adventures, and that's why they have started a new class like merchants. The merchants, these people will take adventures and they will visit to the new countries through sea voyage, and they will trade with the other people also. This way, this is the beginning of the growth and trade, beginning of the trade and commerce in England. So this is how we can understand the age of Chaucer. Then comes the age of revival. This is from the Italian Renaissance, or this part of beginning of the Renaissance here. We can call it as a beginning of the Renaissance here. And why the Renaissance has started, the beginning or the most important historical event is this: the Turkish people has occupied the Constantinople in 1453. That's why the Greeks in the Constantinople has fled to the Italy, and this resulted in the Renaissance. These Greek ideas, the Greek culture was introduced into the English language. And during this age, as we have discussed earlier, the discovery of America by Columbus, the sea route, and discovery of India's sea route by Vasco da Gama happened. This is the beginning of the colonialism of the England. So because of the Turks' capture of the Constantinople, Renaissance has started. Renaissance is nothing but rebirth of the knowledge or enlightenment of the knowledge. So here the focus is more on the classical learning, what Greeks have done in their respective fields. These Greek people has fled to the various countries with their writings, with their books. So these books were the fascination for the English people, and they started learning, they started experimenting, or they started exploring these Greek texts, and then it is the beginning of the Renaissance, we can say. During this age, many historical events were happened. That is War of Agincourt, and Henry V defeated the France. The domination of English on the French started here. So English people started occupying the France, and then the other important Cade's Rebellion is a policies of historical on James Henry by James Cade, and War of Roses is a very important question in English literature. We may often get question like War of Roses is related to which of the following ages, or the chronology or the age of that or particular time of that question also. And the important another important question of this age is the literary events in this particular age. So here, sonnet, a 14-line poem, is introduced into the English by Sir Thomas Watt, and blank verse was introduced by Surrey. Watt and Surrey are the forerunners of this age of revival here. They started new techniques or new forms into the English literature here. And during this age, the first biography, it is the book of Marguerite Kempe, it's known as the first biography, is also introduced in or started in this age. And this is the beginning of the drama. So because of the Greeks influence, or because of the mystery, miracle and morality plays and interludes, the English drama has started during this age of revival. The mystery plays are related to the biblical stories of the God, and then miracle plays is related to the stories of saints. Initially these stories are mooky, there is no words, they are simply enacted on the stage without any dialogues. Gradually a morality plays has started, and in morality plays you have to make a understanding that this is a different type of play. Here there is no names for the characters. The characters names are like sin, courage, adventure, or like that the some moralities of the particular age. So this or some character may be named as death. So here, due to that interaction of that characters, we can understand the what moral standards of the or the Bible what they have mentioned here. So they try to enact all these. So these three can be called as the beginning of the or the pre forerunners of the English drama, and later they gave place to the interludes. Interludes nothing but a comic relief in between the cycles of these morality plays. So one of the four important interlude of this age is 4Ps. 4P. 4P. So the story of four characters, name beginning with P, the letter P. Peddler, Apothecary and other true characters. So that's why this has a tremendous influence on the beginning of the English drama. And at this age, the first printer, known as Caxton, we all very well know him. So he is the one who started printing in England, and it helped in standardization of the English language. And he published many books, Canterbury Tales, Bible and everything. So this started the revival. This sparked the renaissance or revival of the English literature. And during this age, there was more interest or more fascination towards the Greek texts. So that's why Roger Ascham was one of the critic who expressed his dissatisfaction in his book, that Taxophilis. He says that English is a language, no one can do it very badly, but Greek is a language, so none can do better. But we are all running after the Greek language. That's why he expressed that his dissatisfaction over the Greek language. So I have given the special notes of this Roger Ascham's Taxophilis book in my blog. You can go through my blog also. And as I have stated, men started adventures, and this is the beginning of the colonialism. And during this age, after the Chaucer, so this is the age after the Chaucer, so there was no great publications of this book of this age, but we can classify the writers into two ages: the one who follows English Chaucerians and Scottish Chaucerians. Both are the followers of Chaucer, but the first group is from England and the second group is from Scotland. So we may get a question like, who are the Scottish Chaucerians? Or why I am stressing this age is, so we have a topic called the beginning, the origin of poetry, origin of drama also in the English literature. So here, this topic, evolution of drama, that is we have to study this age of revival to learn about the beginning and developments of the drama. So that's why, uh, even if it is not mentioned, this age of revival is not mentioned in the syllabus, but this age is relevant, and it is mandatory to study about this particular age in view of the four different forms, that is prose, poetry, drama, and fiction and non-fiction. So we have to concentrate a little bit on these ages also for better understanding of the next ages. So here, the famous works of this age are Motte de Authors, that is written by Mallory, Thomas Mallory, and Utopia is one of the famous books of English literature. It's even today an ideal society dream by Thomas More. And Tottel's Miscellany is a collection of poems of the particular age, and this miscellany has included the poems of Watt and Surrey, the one who is behind the invention of sonnet and blank verse. These two are very important, and their poems are included in this Tottel's Miscellany also. So thank you very much, and I will record a second video based on the Renaissance and Victorian, Romantic, and modern and postmodern ages. So this is my first video on this history of English literature. This video will help you to understand the literature very much. So I hope you have understood. Thank you for your patience and watching this video. If you like the video, please share it to your friends, and I will share a description of this PDF file. I mean, a link to download the PDF file in the description. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching the video, and we will meet in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.